Hey, what's up you guys? It's Dorothy and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up. Comment down below what you want to see in the future. Click that subscribe button and don't forget to turn on my post notifications. That way you lovely people get notified every single time I upload a video. In today's video, we're going to go on to chapter 31 of As Good as Dead by Holly Jackson. If you have not watched the last video, chapter 30, you need to go back and watch that before you watch this one. Otherwise, you'll be extremely confused. A lot of information was sealed out in that last video, and I know it was extremely long, but let's just get right into this video. This video may contain sensitive topics and foul language. If you do not wish to continue, please click off of the video now. You have been warned. Chapter 31. 12 minutes. 12 minutes was all it took. Pip knew because she checked the time on the burner phone as she and Ravi talked it through. She thought it would have taken much longer. It should have taken much longer. A plan to set someone up for murder. Agonizing hours and a cascade of details, tiny yet critical. That's what you'd think, what Pip would have thought. But 12 minutes and they were done. Ideas back and forth, picking holes in them and plugging the gaps when they found them. Who and where and when. Pip didn't want to involve anyone else, but Ravi made her see it couldn't be done, not without help. The entire thing almost unraveled until Ravi came up with the cell phone tower idea from a case he was working on at his internship, and Pip knew exactly what call to make. 12 minutes, and there was a plan, like a physical thing between them, precious and solid and clear and binding. They could never go back from this, go back to who they were before. It would be difficult, and it would be tight. They could make no wrong turns, no delays, no room for error. But the plan worked in theory. How to get away with murder. Jason Bell was dead, but he wasn't dead yet. He would be in a few hours, and Max Hastings would be the one who killed him. Finally locked away where he belonged. They deserve it, Pip said, standing back. They both deserve it, don't they? It was too late for Jason, but Max. She hated him, down to the very core of who she was, but it was blinding her, leading her. Yes, he reassured her. She knew he hated him just as much. They've hurt people. Jason killed 5 women. He would have killed you. He started everything that led to Andy and Sal dying. So did Max. Max will carry on hurting people if we do nothing. We know that. They deserve this, both of them. He gently tapped his finger in the safe space under her chin, pulling her face up to look at him. It's a choice between you or Max, and I choose you. I'm not losing you. And Pip didn't say, but she couldn't help thinking of Elliot Ward, who'd made a choice exactly like this, making Sal a killer to save himself and his daughters. And there Pip was too, in a messy, confusing gray area, dragging Ravi in with her. The end of in the beginning. Okay, she nodded, talking herself back into it. The plan was binding, and they were in it now, and time was not on their side. A few things still left to work out, but the most important is the refrigerating and heating up the body. Ravi finished the sentence for her, glancing again at those abandoned feet. He still hadn't seen the body up close, seen what Pip had done to Jason. Pip hoped Ravi wouldn't change his mind when he did, wouldn't look at her any differently. He pointed to the brick building behind them, separate from the corrugated iron building with the chemical storeroom off to its side. The building there looks more like an office building where the office staff works. There's probably a kitchen in there, right? With a fridge and a freezer? Yeah, there probably is, Pip nodded, but not human-sized. Ravi blew out a mouthful of air. His face tightened and tense again. Why couldn't Jason Bell have owned a meat processing factory with giant refrigerators? Let's go have a look around, Pip said, turning back to the open metal door and Jason's feet lying across the threshold. We have his keys. She nodded at them, still in the lock where Jason had left them. He's the owner. He must have had a key to every door here. And he told me the alarms were disabled everywhere and the security cameras. He told me he had all weekend if he wanted it, so we should be fine. Yeah, good idea, Ravi said. But he didn't take a step forward because stepping toward the door also meant stepping toward the dead body. Pip went first, holding her breath as she walked over, eyes stalling on Jason's broken open head. She blinked, dragging her gaze away, and pulled the heavy ring of keys out of the door. We need to make sure we remember everything we've touched. I've touched so we can wipe it down later, she said, cradling the keys in her hand. Come on, this way. Pip stepped over Jason, avoiding the halo of blood around his head. Ravi followed close behind him. Pip saw his eyes lingering, blinking hard as though he might wish it all away. A small cough as he picked up his pace behind her. They didn't know anything. What was there to say? It took a few attempts for Pip to find the right key to the door at the end of the storeroom by the workbench. She pushed it open into a dark, cavernous room. Ravi pulled his sleeve up over his fingers and flicked on the light switch. The room came into view, and flickers and overhead lights settled in their buzzy glow. The building must have once been a barn, Pip realized, staring up to the impossibly high ceilings, and laid out before them were rows and rows and rows of machines. Lawnmowers, weed trimmers, leaf blowers, machines she didn't even understand, and tables with smaller tools like hedge cutters. Over on the right were large machines Pip assumed must be rhino mowers covered up with black tarps. They were shelves, with more metal tools glinting in the light, and red plastic gas cans and bags of soil. Pip turned to Ravi, his eyes taking in the room, feverish and fast. "What's that?" he pointed. "A bright orange machine, tall with a funnel-shaped top." "I think it's a shredder," she said. "Or a wood chipper, whatever it's called. Branches go in there and it shreds them to tiny little pieces." Ravi pushed his lips to one side, like he was considering something. "No," Pip said firmly, knowing exactly what it was. "I didn't say anything," he countered. "But there are clearly no giant fridges in here, are there?" But Pip's gaze alightened on the rows and rows of mowers. "Lawn mowers run on gas, don't they?" Ravi's eyes picked up hers, widened in recognition. "Ah, for the fire," he said. "Even better," Pip added. "Gasoline doesn't just burn, it explodes." "Good, that's good," Ravi nodded. But that's the very last step, and we have a long night ahead of us before then." "All of it's pointless if we can't work out how to cool him down and warm him up," Pip said. And she felt it catching from the look in Ravi's eyes, despair. The pain might be over before it began. Her life in the balance, and the scales were tipping away from them. "Come on, think. What could we use? There had to be something. Let's check the office building," Ravi said, taking charge, leading Pip away from the regimented lines of mowers, back through the chemical storeroom, picking their way through the spilled weed killer and spilled blood around the dead body, more dead each time, treading around him with feather-light steps. This was just childhood game. Pip glanced back at the storeroom and the coils of duct tape with tufts of her hair and spots of her blood. "My DNA is all over this room," she said. "I'll take the duct tape with me and dispose of it with my clothes, but we're going to have to clean those shelves too, clean it all before we burn it." "Yes," Ravi said, taking the ring of keys from her. "And these," he jangled them. "There should be cleaning supplies in the office, I'd guess." Pip caught the slide of herself again, reflected in the window of Jason's car. As they passed, her eyes too dark, the pupils overgrown, eating away from the thinning border of hazel. She shouldn't stare too long, in case her reflection stayed in Jason's window forever, leaving a mark of her there. That's when she remembered. "Fuck," she said. Ravi's footstep crunched to a halt. "What?" he said, joining her reflection in the window, his eyes too big and too dark. "My DNA. It's all over the trunk of his car, too." "That's okay. We can deal with that as well," Ravi's reflection said, and Pip saw the mirror version of him reach for her hand, too, before he remembered to pull back. "No, I mean, it's all over the trunk," she said, panic rising again. "Hair, skin, fingerprints, which the police already have on file. I left as much as I could. I thought I was going to die, and I was trying to help, leave a trail of evidence so you could find him, catch him." A new look in Ravi's eyes, desolate and quiet, a quiver in his lip, like he was trying to not cry. "You must have been so scared," he said quietly. "I was," she said. "And as scary as this was, the plan, and what would happen if they failed, nothing came close to the terror she'd felt in that trunk or in the storeroom, taped up to her death mask, its traces still there all over her skin and the craters of her eyes. "We will fix it, okay?" he said loudly, speaking over the tremor in his voice. "We will deal with his car later, when we're back. First, we need to find something to cool him down." Pip sounded out the words, staring beyond herself into the inside of Jason's car. "Cool him down and then heat him up," she said, her eyes circling the control panel beside the steering wheel. The idea started small and simple. What if they kept growing and growing, gorging itself into Pip's attention until it was all she could think of? I'm going to leave it off right there. I will finish the second half of this chapter in another video. I hope that you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye.